guys, we're back in Elden Hollow yet again, but this time we are not facing the High Elven Thalmor. Instead, we are investigating some mysteries that were left behind by the Thalmor's meddling in Elden Hollow. As always, in these dungeon guide videos, no one in the group, no one in the video had any champion point allocated. So we're doing this with just our gear, our skills, and that's pretty much it. Now, first thing you'll notice different from Elden Hollow 1, the ads hit a bit harder, and they're Daedric. Woo! Daedric. Now, it's going to be pretty much the same format as Elden Hollow 1, however, in terms of trash pulls, except it's going to be a bit more spooky, as you'll see. And definitely the damage difference is noticeable between the trash of Elden Hollow 1 and the trash of Elden Hollow 2. And as always, chains is always handy as a tank. If you're a Dragon Knight tank, I don't know why I opened that window up. Probably fat fingered it. If you're DPS in here, try not to get too ahead or get hit by multiple things before the tank has a chance to taunt everything. If your tank does not taunt everything, even if you've given him enough time or her enough time, then they probably should. But anyway, jokes aside, we're going to keep going on ahead. Again, pretty much the same formula, except this time there's not as many annoying stranglers. It seems like the Daedric presence has pretty much killed some of the life in here, which is actually, I feel like, a good thing, because stranglers are probably one of my least favorite things in ESO or at the Elder Scrolls. And here we face the first boss, basically a Daedrith. He does not do the updated Daedrith abilities, which includes fireballs that stun you or people near you, and the earthquake stomp that makes you stagger if you don't block them. He just does some few light attacks and a huge fire breath AoE, so you don't want to point it towards your group unless you're feeling particularly mean about it. But honestly, just keep it still, DPS it, and you're good to go. Now, killing the Daedrith boss will lead to the first main boss of Elden Hollow 2. And it's going to be a Daedric imitation of a Spriggan called Dark Roux. Now, Dark Roux is a very interesting boss. Now, the first thing she does is she randomly selects a player or two with an AoE, I believe, that pretty much destroys your health, just like that. If you're not careful and you're not in healing, like the healer was, you'll probably die, or so on. The second thing she does is summon these little scarabs. One represents magicka and one represents stamina. Now, as you'll see, if you stay in the green mist, your stamina goes straight back up. If you're standing in the blue mist, your magicka goes right back up as well. So this is basically a nice mechanic for people to come in and sustain on this boss. So I highly recommend, if you want to switch out your gear sets just for this boss, I guess, for really cool players, go a set that requires no sustain. And here, unlike Elden Hollow 1, you don't have a side boss over there. Probably that side boss we killed, the Spriggan boss we killed in Elden Hollow 1, is actually the reincarnation that we call Dark Roux. So probably she became Daedric somehow. A lot of groups, I forgot to mention from the last Elden Hollow video, like to jump down from here to skip the next boss, but here we won't be doing that. And we're just going to be killing this trash on this tree root bridge thing, I guess you could call it. Very interesting how this natural formation came to be. Here we have some Banekin, a Lurcher. Regarding the Lurchers, it's pretty important you don't face it towards the group as a thing. Two of its heavies and AoEs are cleaves, so you don't want to cleave the group. And these Fearkin spawn. And the Fearkin do two really annoying things. The first thing they do is they launch a ball of nightmares at you. You can dodge it, but I don't think you can block it. So if you get hit by it, you get stunned. Now the next boss we'll do here is this Twilight. She will spawn these Fearkin, and if after you kill these Fearkin, they'll manifest as these shadow ads that can be still killed, but they just basically fear you into walking everywhere. Just like that. So if you don't have enough stamina to break, you're just going to be walking around like an idiot. Then there's nothing else too noticeable to say about this boss. She just does a cone and that's about it. Summons these Fearkin ads and that's it. This is actually sort of a prelude to the last boss mechanics, as you'll see later, so keep that in mind. And here we have more trash. Now this dark portal ahead of us will keep spawning more and more trash until it culminates in the last wave of one big lurcher. So if you would like, as we did here, you can pull the trash up ahead and take it steady and just pretty much clear the room while you wait for the things from the portal to die to trigger the next portal wave. So that Banekin hasn't died yet, so that's why the portal's not spewing out more Daedra. Once it dies, as you'll notice, more stuff spawn. And here we go. We're gonna kill more trash. Lovely. You want to avoid certain abilities from these mobs, like that fire line you just saw. Those fire lines tend to hurt, especially if you are a vampire in PvE. And you are stage 4, stage 3, or even stage 2. You do take more additional fire damage as a vampire. And here's our next wave of ads from the Dark Portal. And I believe this is the second last wave now. I didn't have enough time to taunt that heavy attack in time, so as a DPS you don't want to be too close to the portal just in case, as heavy attacks once initiated from NPCs cannot be taunted away from players in most cases. And again, keep DPSing, keep healing, keep your buffs up, and here is our last portal wave, the Lurcher. And there's a stagger attack, you don't want to face him towards the group, and there's another one, and his interruptible, which does an AoE around it, but you can pretty much bash that. And there's another heavy attack from him. Now, unlike last time, we're not going to go straight into those tunnels to the left. We're actually going to use this mysterious looking portal, very foreboding portal, to go into this really weird underbelly of Elden Hollow. And here we have an innocent NPC, if you care about the story, Bakra, or Bakara, I don't know how to exactly pronounce that name. They're just doing ritual on her, and I guess they successfully summoned this Lurcher, this Daedric Lurcher, Merclight. So Merclight only has, honestly, one mechanic. He spawns these 3 big shadow AoEs that appear red, meaning, by default red, meaning hostile, you don't want to stand in it. Actually, it's more than 3, it's 5. But once he does this fist slam later on, they'll turn white. If you stand outside the white circles in this dark realm, you keep taking damage, and obviously you want to stand in the white circles as protection. It's a really fun, interesting mechanic, in my opinion. And after the Shadow Realm ends, you want to step out of it and repeat and rinse. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That was Merclight. And we'll be moving on to the next boss of the dungeon, the Shadow Guard. Now, there will be a surprise up ahead, a surprise ambush by Daedra. Not really an ambush, honestly. I mean, it could have had a few more surprises, a few more attackers, but apparently they thought a Scamp and a Dremora would do to stop, 4 people that just basically decimated their vanguard, but why not? And these guys will keep spawning until the last wave, which will include the Lurcher. Surprise! Yeah, if you kill these pretty fast, it kind of takes some time for them to spawn. While you can skip this, like running straight ahead through that door you guys just saw, it will like do like this stuck in combat bug after you finish the next boss. So for the purpose of this video, I didn't skip it. If you would like to skip it and crouch and stealth to use the portal for the final boss, you're more than welcome to. However, we did not skip it. So here's a Shadow Guard. There's like 4 Fearkin you should stack on the boss if you can for maximum cleave. If you're DPS, try to aim your dots in a way it hits everything or almost everything. Nothing too special about this boss. He spawns a limited number of dark AoEs that keep damaging you if you stand in them. Notice that he does not spawn more later on. He seems to be spawning more, but all he is doing is shifting those AoEs around, targeting a specific player. So we'll see that soon enough. And here we are. He's shifting the AoEs. As you can see, they're not disappearing and reappearing, they're just being moved. And if you are being targeted by them, move in a way that doesn't hinder your group's own movements. I've seen people run around like chickens here, but there's no real need to. And there we go, the Shadow Guard is now dead. And here is the portal to the last boss. A very intimidating looking boss, and it was actually a fairly difficult boss to complete back in the day, but still very doable without any champion points involved. Now, Bogdan and Light Flame is a Titan, not a dragon, for people interested in lore. And we're going to read the hard mode scroll. It's just going to make his health higher and spawn more of his ads. There's a lot of things he does. At certain health intervals, he'll jump up and slam down, damaging us and vanquishing his own ads. His ads are made of shadow and fire, so white fire. The second thing he does is he spawns these white fires on you. There you go. Normally you can stack it as a group and move around instead of being everywhere and causing the fires to be everywhere, but these 2 DPS apparently forgot to put on their food before this last fight. And as you can see, the 2 types of ad he spawns is the Fearkin from the Matriarch fight we experienced a little while ago in the dungeon, and these ads that heal him with Tendrils of Light. And those healing beams are bashable, so if you need your group to get past the damage gap, if your group doesn't do enough DPS to overcome the healing and the boss's health, you want to bash these. There's no real point in killing them, honestly, because it would just take more time. So if you're the healer or tank, feel free to bash these when you see them. You just kind of go back and forth as you see right now. And you're going to push him to the next health interval, forcing him to jump up and slam down. And that just gets rid of everything. That slam is also mitigatable by block. So when you see him do that, you can block, shield, or whatever. And you shouldn't die to it unless you're standing in stupid. Now the Fearkin we mostly ignore. Again, same concept. It might take a lot longer to kill these individual ads and to just focus the boss down. Just be wary and conserve your stamina when the Fearkin does fear you. And the Fearkin's stun, I believe, is not blockable. So, and here we are on the last stretch of his health. And I just go to bash it. It's kind of insignificant at this point, but it's for good practice. Alright, and that was Hard Mode Elden Hollow 2 on Vet without CP. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next video.